Right, today's picks from Breakingviews Credit Suisse shrinks to fit new realities, and why Moody's downgrade is good news for France. With me is Edward Hadas. Good to see you in the studio, Edward. Right, let's start with Credit Suisse. Private banking swallowing asset management to cut costs. Is this a precursor to Brady Dugan going as well?
Well, that might be. It's a little bit early to tell on that. He's very closely associated with the one bank strategy, the complete integration of private banking and the investment bank, which a few years ago, before the crisis, looked like the way forward. Now it looks like a step way too far, really a large step too far. As regulatory pressure is there to make the bank structure simpler, that means dividing lines that are clear between the divisions. And also business is terrible. Yep. So the kind of luxury that one had of various interlocking complex structures no longer seems like affordable.
They're also reinforcing their commitment to fixed income, it seems. And, you know, in light of what UBS announced, that seems like a good move. Is that a good move?
Well, in reinforcing their commitment is a little bit of an exaggeration. They've actually cut back quite a bit there too, but they want to stay as a solid presence there. So, you know, this is, as always, when one reduces capacity in an industry, you want to be the last man standing because there's still going to be a demand, and Credit Suisse believes, and perhaps correctly, that they can be one of those last men standing in this industry and make money.
All right, so the one bank strategy, we're moving well away from that. It seems, in general,
Brady, like the beginning of the end of that strategy.
Brady Dugan was a supporter of that. How long's he got, do you think?
If this is only the beginning of the end, he may be able to ride the new wave, but it could well be that this could be the another bank boss to go.
Is he the sort of man who will ride the new wave?
He's a very clever man. I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, let's talk about Moody's and this downgrade. You say it's good news for France. You say it'll help Hollande convince the electorate that they need to move forward faster with this. Before I hear what you have to say, Edward, let's just listen to what the finance minister had to say.
This rating change in no way places a question over the fundamentals of our country's economy, neither the reforms undertaken by the government nor the quality of the signature on our debt. We're not acting on one single measure or acting on one event, and that's what they're telling us to do, and not just Moody's, to implement an unprecedented series of structural reforms.
All right, so I think what's notable there, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong, but it wasn't an all-out attack on the rating agency.
Yes, under the previous regime, under Sarkozy, when S&P downgraded, there was a furious, we are fine, we are French, we are wonderful type response. This time, it really seems that the new administration under Hollande, as we say, gets it, and that they are really trying to address what are really a couple of decades worth of problems that have been identified, complained about, promised to change for at least a decade, a series of reviews. And it really seems that Hollande is going to actually do something about it. Whether he'll do enough is another question. Yep. But he needs all the outside pressure he can get, and it's not really surprising that they're basically welcoming this outside pressure. So
Breakingviews like him now, Hollande? Because a few weeks ago you didn't, right?
We have actually. When the facts change, we change our minds. Yeah. We're much more impressed with him than we were a few months ago.
Right. Good, and you believe that this can be done. I know he's asked to be judged on the 5 years rather than short term. You think he's making the right noises?
These are problems that have been building up for 20 years. It's unlikely you can solve them in one. They're problems that are deeply embedded in the French industrial and business and political culture. Again, it's unlikely you can solve them by the stroke of a pen.
Edward, good to have you with us. Many thanks. Edward Hadas. For more agenda-setting insight, do watch our US Breakingviews show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 GMT. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.